Welcome back. Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. And I'm going to go ahead and just repeat myself for what I said last week. Cisco ripped us off with the thong song. There was no thongs in the song. Compared to Baby Got Back
Oh,
by the one and only Mix.
yeah, yeah. That's
He
true.
played us.
I haven't seen that video in God knows how long.
Anyway, so
Okay.
welcome back, Unapologetic,
Mhm.
WOVU
Where?
95.9 FM. We've already, for the most part, prefaced what we were going to talk about today. What I want
Mm-hmm.
is to expound on this idea of good trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And not only on this idea of good trouble, this idea of what it means for a person of color to agitate and get in good trouble.
Mm-hmm.
One time, I took my oldest son to D.C. and we went Frederick Douglass, where he was a slave.
Mm-hmm.
And on the video, it said at the very end, it said agitate. Right, that was Frederick Douglass's
Mm-hmm.
thing, to agitate,
Mm-hmm.
which is similar to John Lewis, frat John Lewis. I don't know, Douglas wasn't frat, but
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
I think
Yeah,
he's part of Prince Hall,
yeah,
maybe.
maybe. Yeah, I think possibly. So this idea of trouble has followed us, over, and each one of those individuals have gotten into a fair amount of trouble
Mm-hmm.
and have received a fair amount of harm for that trouble.
Mm-hmm.
My question to start this off: Do in this current environment, do we have individuals, right, that has similar? Is it a similar ilk, Frederick and John Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
that is okay with the physical harm or any harm that
Mm-hmm.
comes with getting in what quote unquote good trouble?
Do we have people now that
Yeah,
I don't see them?
yeah, I don't see them
I,
either.
I wonder. I mean, I really was trying to think, and those that did, that we had some really young advocates, um, that I found that end up taking their lives,
Yeah,
being, and
the
I
Black Lives
noticed,
Matters
yeah,
individuals.
like,
We had Dre McKesson. We
yeah,
had more of a older than me. What is his name? Roland Martin.
yeah,
We had a lot
we
of
did,
individuals that at a prominent time of their age, which is
yeah,
prominent time is between the ages of 25 and 55, I think,
mm-hmm,
so to speak.
mm-hmm,
They were right there, and activists right there
yeah,
out there doing the thing. But
yeah,
you know, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't see too many between that age that are, perfectly okay with the physical aspect of the harm. The
yeah,
economic, maybe, but not
yeah.
the physical. What's your thoughts?
I don't think anyone should be okay with physical harm.
Hmm.
I feel like if being a minority who wants to stand for something that is just, that is freedom, that is wholeness, that
Hmm.
is a divine right, because you're breathing, because you're human, doesn't mean that you have the liberties to harm me because you don't like what I'm saying or what I
Hmm.
stand for. So I think that in this season, we just lack a lot of courage when it
Hmm.
comes to wanting to stand for something, and do it loudly, boldly, brazenly,
Hmm.
without the fear of being harmed, you know.
So this is the interesting part.
Yeah,
You want the tattoo, but you don't want the pain. You want the glory of the tattoo. You want the aesthetics of the tattoo. You even want those to actually commend you on that tattoo, but you don't want to go through the actual excruciating and barbaric act of
mm-hmm,
receiving that tattoo, which
mm-hmm,
is similar because to get this tattoo,
mm-hmm,
there's a byproduct of that.
mm-hmm.
Now, we do have what's called fake or press on tattoos that are liminally permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea that getting into trouble and wanting to change a system, it does not come because the people that have the power are perfectly okay providing harm. And at some point, there's this idea of how much harm I'm okay, receiving.
But I've so my mindset is that it's not focused on the harm but the purpose. So
No,
it's
I
like,
understand. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like we're not really aligning ourselves with pursuing purpose like we used to. The people who stood up and actually endured pain or went through good trouble,
Hmm.
they weren't focused on what they were going to do as a result of their
No,
actions. They were
right.
focused on
Yeah.
what their actions meant.
The flowers, it's
Yeah.
the thorns, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thorns are a part of the part of
Right,
the process. I don't think
right.
we can get one without the other.
Right. And I think that's what we're actually saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think the byproduct, So if I go back to the question,
Mm-hmm.
do you see anyone that's looking or that is moving forward in a way that they're getting into good trouble while understanding that the harm that is coming from that, the physical harm, the psychological harm, all of the harms that Frederick and John Lewis went through
Mm-hmm.
is a byproduct of this freedom, quote unquote, freedom that you want.
Yeah. But I also think it's a trade off of harm. Nobody
Hmm.
works for something greater
Hmm.
because everything's great already. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, if these people are positioning themselves to have good trouble, meaning position themselves to be reprimanded,
Hmm.
to be canceled, to have their finances affected, their homes, their families, et cetera, et cetera. Um, you're still choosing to be on a certain side of history. It's
Yeah.
still saying that I know that things that's happening this way now isn't okay, and I
Hmm.
desire for it to be better than what it is. And if I don't act,
Hmm.
then there's not going to be anything better than this, and I'm
Yeah.
working towards something better than this. But I think if you focus on the hurt or what can come from it, it'll keep it'll keep us all deterrent from
Yeah.
actually doing anything worthwhile.
The other part is to get in good trouble, you have to be okay with
The outcome.
not only that, but also not being viewed as what we see as good.
True.
Because to get in good trouble mean, that's, the funny,
You to be the
I can't,
anti-hero.
yeah, I can't think of that. It's a term for it that for some reason I can't think,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't go together.
Mm-hmm.
Good and trouble doesn't go
You don't get
together.
to be the villain
Right.
and the protagonist at the
Yeah.
same time.
So
Yeah.
the idea that this term goes together, it just doesn't. And you have to be okay with the good of what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and the trouble that it will bring.
Mm-hmm.
So we got these, like I said in the monologue, we have these protests.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to fall into my angry self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fall into my angry self, and I'm gonna channel my brother Justice, and and I'm gonna be real and be like, protest. What's the point of protesting when once something changes,
Yeah.
right? Every 4 years, something change. Every 8 years, something change. What's the point of the
Mm-hmm.
protest
Mm-hmm.
if we're not actually seeing sustainable change? Because
That's an excellent
if I
question.
go protest today and
Yeah.
I get harmed today,
Yeah.
and somebody see me getting harmed and say, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna follow this brother because I see what he's doing,
Yeah.
and they go and go get harmed. And so we have a collective of individuals saying, okay, we're all see that this is bad.
Yeah.
It just takes one strike of a pen for something to go away.
True.
So what's the point of my harm today when 4 years from now um, is going to be, you know, whitewashed as the Black Lives Matter street
Yeah.
has been?
That is so true. So I guess the question I have is that so what is the purpose of the protest? What are people doing it for? What is the call to action
Hmm.
that's being done? Because I do agree, not saying that there's anything wrong with the protest, but I do feel like if we are battling someone who doesn't care about your actions, who doesn't care about your protests, who doesn't care about the right way of doing things,
Hmm.
who doesn't care about the Constitution, who
Hmm.
doesn't care about the order, the system, the nothing. Like
Hmm.
if this person doesn't care, then what are these righteous
Hmm.
acts doing as far as cause and effect?
I have no clue. And
Oh, okay.
because that's the question. So if we're
What are we
doing all
doing?
of this and we know for a fact, I mean,
Mhm.
if you remember, just 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and all of the hope and
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but at the time I was working
Mhm.
in a different environment than I was now, and I remember people that were not of Black and brown descent coming to me
Mhm.
and just saying, "I'm just so sorry for what is
Yeah.
going on." Did you have that?
Yes, I did.
To have and
Absolutely.
that idea that what it appeared is that they were come to us to assuage
Mhm.
what what an aspect of their lineage was doing or had done,
Mhm.
over periods of time.
Yeah.
And then now if you look at it, it's like it's never happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that one thing that our current leadership has done is welcome the freedom of hatred
Hmm.
and welcome the freedom of lack of righteousness.
Yeah.
Like, to be of ill will, to
Yeah.
be of malice. Now you can welcome that aspect of your truth.
Hmm.
You can welcome your darkness
Yeah.
now. And so I don't feel like the same people who were approaching us are the same people who are celebrating this state of being now.
Yeah.
I think they're the people who were silenced once the darkness was brought to light.
Yeah.
And so now they feel like they can be seen, they can be heard. And so maybe the protests are not what it is that we need to assess, but actually the reality of what we live in.
Yeah. I think let's go back to this idea of, in this dirty word, of racism and bigotry.
Yeah.
So racism is about power, and I can understand racism. I 100% understand. I understand both of them. Racism is about power, and I can understand how the dominant class, or those that are, uh, uh, what you're actually talking about. I can understand why they want the power, because it's the same concept that I would want. I just go about it differently, right? So I understand racism because if I help you, that means it's going to take away from me. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I just clearly say I understand it. I also understand bigotry because I understand emotions. Bigotry is the emotional aspect related to the subjugation or the lowering of someone else based off of A, B, and C. For example,
So you understand the superiority and inferiority complex.
I understand it because of
Okay.
the placement of what I understand it because of my occupation of choice.
Okay.
I
Got
understand
it.
how emotions can trick you into believing
Mhm.
that someone is lesser than
yeah,
you.
that there's an adversary, because if this person capitalizes, then that means I can't be of a certain level, I can't reach a certain height. If you become everything that you're meant to be, that means that I can't in some kind of way,
Are
or
we
take something
bigotry or
away from me.
racism? Which one?
I'm
Because
guessing.
it sounds like you're explaining racism, and that
Yeah.
makes sense. And that's how it was interesting how individuals like Malcolm X and Farrakhan and all these people understood, like, yeah, I can work with you because you're a racist, and I know where you stand.
That
I can't work with a bigot because a bigot is working off of something that is categorized and unable to be molded and helped, which
So
is
what's the
emotion.
difference? What makes a bigot different from a racist?
The emotions. I
Okay.
need you to be lower than me because you are less than me, and I don't like you because your people are
So
dirty.
it's a self-hatred expressed to someone outside of
Yep.
themselves.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's human nature.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we bring in that third word, which is prejudice, right? That
Which we all
prejudice,
have,
which we
which
all
is a
have.
natural thing. Yes.
And that's where the argument, when I look at this good trouble and I look at the people that are, affected by this, what I'm seeing is more bigots than racists. I see
Okay.
more bigots than racists. I see
Oh
more
yeah, it's a choice. It's a volunteer.
Yeah.
I just don't want to like you.
That's the hatred.
That's the hatred.
That's the hatred. So when you were talking about hatred, the first thing popped in my head is, oh, she's talking about the bigots. Now, this is what's interesting. Bigots can also be black and brown people.
Correct.
And your closeness to whiteness,
Absolutely.
which, if we look at both of us, it would be assumed that because I am of fair skin, I have always had or been close to this concept of closeness to whiteness, which means I've had privilege. If you look at someone else that is darker than me, right? They would assume something different.
Yeah.
That is the bigotry within our, within our lexicon of black and brown people, that when someone,
especially in Hispanic cultures,
yes,
and we have a lot of colorism
colorism
is what they
is
call
what the
it. So
word
we
is.
got racism, colorism,
Colorism.
bigotry, and prejudice. We are doing great
Well, yeah,
today on
right,
this
right,
Wellness Wednesday.
Right.
Okay.
But the idea,
All the unwellness
we cannot
that we can
change.
discuss.
We cannot change anything without actually defining it.
That's my point of what I was coming back to with the protests, is that if we don't acknowledge what it is that we're battling, meaning, oh my goodness. So if I have a plumbing issue and I have a sink that's overflowing, right?
Yes.
And I decide to vacuum the carpet. How does it make sense? No, like, but hear me out.
I'm with you.
It makes no, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
Instead of addressing the issue, it's like, well, I'm doing something.
I'm
Don't
doing-
you see I'm doing something?
So they have a term for that. They call it slacktivism.
What is that?
That is exactly what I'm doing something.
I'm doing something.
So reposting is easy, but what does it really do for the movement, right? So slacktivism has been viewed as that thing that we love to do, and we want to share. And if we turn our social media to black, we are doing something.
Okay.
So, all right, let's go over the terms that we've been already used. All right, good trouble, which is a contradiction, right? So that's one. It is a contradiction.
Fine.
Agitate, which is something that Frederick Douglass have said.
Yeah.
Racism, you can do a deal with a racist, but you will never do a fair deal. You can do a reasonably well deal with the racist, but you will never do a fair deal with a bigot.
Correct.
We all have prejudice.
Indeed.
And in the
all that is prejudgment.
Right. In the black culture, we have bigotry as well, which is termed as colorism.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
No, I don't want to do it. Okay, sure. So
what?
There's also
what was that?
Listen, it was because it's me trying not to agitate people.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, there's also an issue of different types of black people. We have black excellence. We have what we consider ghetto. We have what we consider, you know what I'm saying? Like we have different
classes
of how we see ourselves.
So do white folks though.
But I'm saying
you got to read that book, White Trash.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I've never read that one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna read that one.
But no, I get it.
Tell me about it. But you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Like it's so now it's more than color. Now we have social status issues within our culture.
Yeah.
That does affect how we see each other.
Yeah.
And even our willingness to cooperate with one another, our willingness to share perspective and empathy. So now if you have reached a certain level of privilege, your empathy for someone that does not have the same access to education or just resources is different.
So empathy and compassion goes together. So in other words, I don't see a lot of compassion from those that have power. And what's interesting, I'm gonna be honest, I did way back when.
Okay.
I did. There was, because they were racist.
Oh, wow.
They were racist.
Okay.
There were some aspects of racism that had the human aspect to it, to where we can only do but so much to these people, right? Let's not raise them up to where we are because, that's foolish, right? Because I got my family to protect. But there's no compassion or empathy in bigotry.
No.
At all. At all. But I think in colorism, it's the same. There's no compassion with colorism or empathy. And that goes back to that concept of classism within the black and brown areas. I'm not sure where I would sit in this, but I for darn sure know that I've gotten to the habit of saying the loud thing quiet over the past 2 years. Just period. When I'm talking to people, it used to be, and I got into a debate with one of my brothers. I got into a debate about, I'm tired of talking to people that don't want to listen. And so what I've started to do is say the loud thing quiet, to where I'm 50 now. Yeah. I'm just 5 years away from the optimal time for change. Yeah. So I'm no longer going to give my energy to someone to try to convince them that they are, valuable or significant.
That's a sign of wellness.
Me?
Wisdom. Correct.
Well, yeah.
Correct.
I'm up here with my crown.
You see
I ain't
what
got
I'm
no
saying?
crown.
No, for sure. But that, and we have to learn that. So that still goes back to what we're speaking to, which is if you're speaking to an audience that can't hear you.
Yeah. What's the point? All right, let's round this ship because all right. So in this 5 minutes, we gotta go to a quick break, but we also want to bring in Joy on the other end. But let's help some people out. So we then said a bunch of words. We said agitate. We said good. The phrase "good trouble." Huh?
Got a whole bunch of vocabulary.
Right. Bigotry, racism, classism, all these isms. What we didn't even talk about misogynist, but that's besides the
Not
point.
today.
That's a whole nother thing.
Mhm.
So we got all these things, and rising above it or going through it or understanding how to categorize it is wisdom. So what I want you to give me are 3 ways for us in this moment, as we see in all of this agitation, bigotry,
Mhm.
and not even, in classism. What are some ways that you would advise someone to rise above it?
Self-awareness.
Hmm.
If you can see yourself in it, you
Okay.
can see yourself through it.
Hmm.
That means you can be more effective in who you talk to,
Okay.
who's listening.
Hmm.
Also, you can be more relatable in what's going to be effective.
Hmm.
So, if you understand you,
Hmm.
you'll be able to see others. If you understand others, you'll be able to see change.
Okay. So what I heard you say was there's this thing called self-awareness,
Correct.
self-reflection,
Correct.
self-identity,
Correct.
self-esteem,
Self-discovery.
self-discovery, which
Indeed.
all stays in the self or the spirit of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So what I heard you say was turn back into your spirit, your true
Correct.
spirit, in order for you to grow and become wisdom,
Yes. Because
wise, or whatever.
I feel like there's a lot of disassociation
It
in our
is.
society.
It is.
So
Right
because
now.
because we can't see ourselves, we can't be effective in
Yeah.
what we want to see happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would like to say is during this wellness moment that we're
Mhm.
having right
Yes,
now,
indeed.
or during this time, what I want you to do is be okay with pushing away and saying no to participation in things
Yeah.
that will harm you in
Mhm.
a way that you cannot be repaired. And what I
Correct.
mean by that is, okay, that doesn't mean that Eric said I shouldn't show up for protests.
Mhm.
What I mean is understand your capacity and your capacity, which is how much you can take,
Mhm.
and your capability, your skills to heal yourself as you're fighting for your identity. There are
Absolutely.
just some times where I can only take one protest,
Mhm.
and then I can only take 30 minutes of that protest to where I'm just going to walk.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
There are some people that simply because they have the legs to walk, the eyes to see, and all this, their full senses, is that they should give their 100% to a cause
Mhm.
that 100% affect them, while not realizing they're leaving 0% for anything else, including themselves.
Correct.
So that's me.
Yes.
Any thoughts before we go to a break?
Get away from the group think.
Okay.
Because a lot of us are identifying with somebody else's idea of good.
Mm.
And somebody else's idea of trouble, if that makes sense. So if you can actually see what it means to you,
Mhm.
and what it means to be actually a part of something bigger, you have to know what role you play. Even if we're all just a drop in the ocean, you got to recognize your drop and what that's worth.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side, we're going to
Ooh.
bring back in Joy. And Joy is going to do her moment. What is it called? Her
Community.
community moment, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to transition it over to you so you can have your spotlight about your book,
Yeah.
which I did finish.
I'm so happy you did.
Well, I'm amazing.
I know you are. There's no doubt in my mind.
This is Unapologetic with Eric King and co-host Shadae. We're going to come back on the other side. Welcome back. Unapologetic with Eric King. And we are going to bring in Joy King. She is an author, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, as well as a geriatric nurse practitioner. And she visits us once a month and gives us her wellness or her community message. Would you like me to find some music for you?
No, that's quite all right. Can you hear me fine?
Of course I hear you fine. What's up?
Okay, good.
Hit me with it.
I'm good. So we're going to enjoy this nice sunny day. We're going to talk about ways to reflect and the best places to reflect. Where's your best place to reflect, Eric?
In our sunroom.
Okay.
Where the birds and the animals come.
How about your co-host?
Hold on, wait. Go ahead.
Okay, so for me, it's definitely by the water.
By the water.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So some research says some of the other best places to relax and reflect are the park, because nature has a calming effect on the mind, the shower, because it's a private, uninterrupted space where the sound of the running water can be incredibly soothing, a quiet room, which has minimal distractions, the beach, which has waves and the sounds of the vast ocean, can be very meditative. Cafes can be cozy with a warm cup of coffee or tea, and the library can also have a quiet and peaceful atmosphere. So this week, I want everyone to kind of reflect on think of a place where you feel most at peace. Describe this place and explain why it helps you to reflect.
All right. So, where is your place to relax and reflect?
My place, I'm definitely a shower person. It's uninterrupted space where the
Okay.
sound of the running water is soothing and my mind can wander and I can reflect over my day.
So, if anyone want to know, I am a water symbol, and so that's why she finds calm in me.
Even though I don't have any theme music.
You're right. Tell us where they can get your book from, and what's the name of your book?
The name of my book is Finding Your Best Self, a guide to understanding mental health. It is available on Amazon, and as of this week, it is also available at your local Barnes & Noble. So you can either check in there or you can go online.
Wait. There you go. I got some claps. There you some claps.
Thank you.
All right, that is Joy King. She visits us once a month during our Wellness Wednesday segment, giving us and dropping us some nuggets. And also, look her up. She can write you some scripts. Get you right. Joy, I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you, next month. All right.
Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
Right. So we have a brand new segment.
We do.
And if I didn't have Joy's, I feel a little embarrassed. But if I didn't have Joy's music, I am going to try to find the music that you and I talked about. But while I'm finding that, what is your book of this month?
It is The Courage to Be Disliked. So I'm a big fan of the book, and I'm glad that you got the opportunity to check it out this week before we got to discuss it on the air. But it's basically a conversation between a philosopher and a student, discussing different questions and avenues about life and self and what it means to be happy and what it means to have mental illness and what it means to identify self in a particular space when it comes to interpersonal relationships, etc., etc., etc. This book was awesome to me because I feel like it's something that many people struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and it's just the feeling of being disliked. For me personally, I didn't know that I needed the courage to be disliked until I recognized that other people's opinions and perspective influenced what I did and how I lived my life. What I shared, how I was perceived. And in this book, it talks about the power of kind of choosing you, the power of making the changes you want to make for you, the power of disregarding the outside voices because yours should be the loudest, and yours should be the one that you appreciate, honor, and that you surrender to, and that you shouldn't be concerned about who doesn't like you if you don't like you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the name of that book was?
The Courage to Be Disliked.
All right. And they can find it everywhere.
Everywhere.
Now tell us about your journal that you have that is also on Amazon.
So I have the Alchemic Power of Gratitude journaling available on Amazon, Blissful Inspirations journal. It is a little something or another. It is something for all people. So I bought one for my sons. I bought one for people of all ages because it just reminds you to appreciate life.
Okay.
The little things. So check that out on Amazon.
All right. So let's land this ship. And that was brought to you by Miss Shadae. I had to say it like that because that's what they say it on the radio.
Yeah.
And she joins us once a month during our Wellness Wednesday, and she drops us some nuggets from them tattooed trees.
Yeah.
So let's round it out. Let's close it out. We got about 5 more minutes, and we have to ensure that we provide the opportunity, because this is Wellness Wednesday.
It is.
We provide the opportunity for people to be healed in their journey. So go back to this idea of classism and what is it that you as a mother,
Mm-hmm.
and you speaking as a mother, want to pour down to your children about this idea of good trouble?
Standing up for what's right means aligning with the authentic integrity in your own values.
Hmm.
And in order for you to know what that is, you have to actually be in tune with you.
Hmm.
And that it's okay to not run with the crowd or to believe what other people say and do if you can honor who you are and who you were designed to be by the Most High Creator.
Okay. And you, as a Black woman?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I represent the wound of the earth,
Hmm.
the liaison between um, heaven and earth. So, with that being said, it's recognizing who and what I was designed to be in culture and environment and nurturing and comfort, also in destruction, because sometimes things need to be teared down to be rebuilt.
Hmm.
So that essence and that energy that is shared, the highest energy that you can feel within you is authenticity. It's the actual truth of who you are. It's
Hmm.
not if you're blissful or joyous. You got to just be what you can be in that moment. And I think that we need to embrace all of that.
Okay. And then lastly, as just a citizen of this earth.
Bring joy
Okay.
when you can. Bring peace. Bring laughter.
Hmm.
Bring
Okay.
flow.
Okay. Flow is good. Flow is good.
You love flow.
Man, you just understand.
Mm-hmm.
I do implore anyone that's listening that, wants to be a part of the healing journey of anything that we got going on here, whether it's here at the radio station or, within our communities. Feel free to volunteer at Burtonville Card Community Center and just be a part of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteer at the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
If you are within my voice, would I employ anyone in this July? Figure out the best way to provide compassion
Mm-hmm.
and let go of hate, compassion as well as empathy. And then lastly, for anyone that is looking for mental wellness, always look me up. I do this. I do this because I am called to do this. So you can always look us up at Mental and Emotional Wellness Centers of Ohio, and the lovely Joy will navigate you through seeing one of our counselors.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm also noticing, and I'm gonna add this part in
Mm-hmm.
that we didn't get a chance to talk about, which was a part of what we were going to talk about with Token,
Mm-hmm.
is this idea of how justice or the lack thereof of justice,
Mm-hmm.
under the law or equal treatment or whatever have you, has a epigenetic effect on the individuals that are being harmed by the injustice. So in
True.
America, the
Mm-hmm.
individuals that are being harmed by the injustice are anyone that is not of the white male dominant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you get closer to white male dominance, such as white women,
Mm-hmm.
your epigenetic or that hold or that passed down trauma or that passed down depression or that
Yeah.
passed down, whatever have you, gets lessened.
Mm-hmm.
So I do implore anyone that when we're looking at justice and this good trouble and what we're doing in this current environment,
Mm-hmm.
I implore you to find ways of healing, whether it is a mental health counselor, whether it is meditation, Reiki, whether going to the doctor, going to the dentist, all these things that are connected to wellness. For July, what I want you to do is just take one thing and focus on that one thing, even
Mm-hmm.
if it is, finding 3 minutes to journal or meditate or walk. Buddhists call the meditative walking. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do something. So that's my charge for this month. You got one?
Honor how you feel when you feel it. I think that especially in our culture, we get used to suppressing things, especially as a Black woman. And even for our Black men, we don't even give them permission to feel.
Mhm.
So I say in every moment you get the opportunity to check in with yourself and honor how you feel when you feel it.
Okay. So wrap it up because we got. Where can they reach you? Where can they meet you? And where can they
Well,
be a
everyone
part of what you got going on?
You can always find me online at IG as Shadae the Alchemist, Shadae underscore the underscore alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
Also online, you can go to my website at
Mm-hmm.
shadethealchemist.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shadae Carlisa on Facebook. We have some new developments. So I'm hoping to start some community conversations and do some more one-on-ones and
Okay.
coaching. And so, yeah, hopefully we can see you guys soon.
All right. So next week is our regular commentary. Hopefully, you guys get a chance to check out our YouTube. Go to
Mhm.
YouTube, and I'm a bit late because it's just me, and June was my vacation month.
Oh yeah.
So we had a great talk with two Trump supporter and a non-Trump supporter last week about his 100 days. So I implore everyone to get out and pay attention. What happens? What happens in the ivory tower, or should we say, the government,
Mhm.
affects you too.
Mhm.
And in all honesty, if you lack power, you lack economics, you lack knowledge, it affects you first. It does not affect me and it in the way that it affects others that do not have the knowledge. So I implore everybody to go do that. So I do want to make sure that because it got a bit heavy, and we know for a fact 100% that emotions and music have a connection. So
Yes, they do.
we're going to go out to this mix just to let us get going. Join us next week and make sure you check out all of the books that we spoke about today. Research all of the isms and see how they affect you. And I'll catch you next week. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM.